But, you know, for me, the biggest symptom that I had was just like not having as much energy as I felt like I should. Like I'm a very energetic person, and I just was like, I was just kind of tired. I just didn't really have as much motivation as I felt like I should have. And you guys, I took these parasite supplements, and like I had, amongst other things, a massive tapeworm. Like I'm talking like this, like it was like a good inch, inch and a half wide. Like, and I don't like, I mean, who knows how long I've had that, but I mean, that had to have been what, at least 10 years or something based on it to be that size.
Could be.
Yeah. And so, and by the way, I've been going to health practitioners and stuff for years, and no one had ever caught this, but for it to have been there that long, it had to have been going on for quite some time.
Well, you could have had stuff for 40 years. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And most practitioners, they're not trained in this because they can't find it on a test. So you got to use common sense, and you got to do research and or energetic muscle testing, biofeedback, something that will show things, so, you know, to get this stuff, because it just doesn't show up. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, I worked with that Mimosa Pudica product for 3.5 years before I launched it out to the public, right? So I worked in my clinic, did research in 3 other clinics. And then this new formulation, I worked on it for 2.5 years. So the tincture of dialing it in to make sure I wanted to address all the different parts, whether it was the egg, the larvae, the adult form of the parasite, and to be potent for specifically Strongyloides threadworm, which is something I struggled with, and then lots of other people struggle with. And it's a really, really hard parasite to eradicate because the whole life cycle is within us, and I probably had it for so many years. Well, gosh, I've had people take and like, all right, get up to higher doses. So, because the lower dose, it can create headaches, you detox. And some people are like, you know what, you just need to go high. You got a tapeworm in there. Let's see if it gets the tapeworm out. And literally that one gal taking 3 droppers 4 times a day, and with a day and a half, she passed like a 4-foot tapeworm. Another guy recently did 6 droppers 3 times a day, and within 5 days, he had a 6-foot tapeworm come out. And then tons of liver fluids. Like people are passing lots of liver fluids with this.
I feel intuitively like maybe I have liver fluids. So can you tell me about that, and how would you know you have them, and what do you do and how do you clear them if you think you have them?
Well, sometimes people have just boring pain at times in their liver. Other times there's a fluttering. I used to have this little fluttering thing going on. I'm like, okay, that's really weird. But sometimes most people don't know. But it's one of the most common parasites in the world. And so with that being the case, almost everybody that I know that I see in the clinic has liver fluids. They've been exposed to it through fish, through meat, through something, through a vegetable, whatever it is. There's lots of modes of transmission, but everybody seems to have them, or a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people do have them. And you may have this relatively low problems or hardly any problems, but then have your liver fluids come out, and they can block the bile production, or not the bile production, but the bile flow through the liver, and just have optimal digestion. That they can affect that quite a bit. So clearing them out, I think, is really important. So that this formula has worked really well, and even fast as people have. I've challenged a few people to stop just taking 2 or 3 drops or 5 drops for months. I'm like, no, you got to get enough in there that's going to do something.
Yeah, right.
You might have a headache. You might have a headache or a bad headache or something like that for a few days, but you're going to see results when it really happens. And you're going to have less problems if you actually go through the protocol, because it's preparing the body to deal to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, and so I think most of my listeners are going on the microbe formula side. So what is that one called? Because I think there's different names for each.
That's Formula 2. That one's Formula 2.
Formula 2, okay.
The other Formula 1 and the Mimosa Pudica prepare the body to be able to go after the formula. This is just more of an aggressive tincture, where Formula 1 is an irid-based formula that addresses all the 3 doshas. It's mild, very mild, but is effective. And then I bring out the bazooka with that tincture, and you can taste the clove in it for sure. Yeah. And I even put it into so people use it in neti pots. I have a navage that pushes the water in and it comes out the other side that I'll use. So I'll put drops of that. So I'm flushing and rinsing out, because we can get parasites in our nasal sinuses, fungus, mold in there. If you're fighting, like this right now, you feel like you get exposed to it, go do nasal flushes. And
Yeah.
one of the best things you can do to prevent getting sick and getting it from your nasal sinuses in through your throat to your chest is to be doing rinses in your sinuses all the time.